Ok, un puque de lips. Mel grinned. He had created a monster, or, at least, a very confused philatelist in a polyester suit. Book 2. The Polyester Prince and the Paper Tiger. Chapter 6. The Chattanooga Buzzsaw Massacre. The cinema smelled of stale butter and impending doom. It was the perfect atmosphere for the Chattanooga Buzzsaw Massacre. A film that Mel Sharples had assured his cousin Wendell was a romantic mood setter. Wendell sat in the dark, rigid as a board, encased in the leisure suit Mel had forced upon him. The suit was a synthetic marvel, a petroleum-based cage that rustled with every breath. Beside him sat Vera, who was happily munching on popcorn, her eyes glued to the screen where a teenager was running from a power tool. Behind them, Mel sat flanked by two women he referred to as the double-knit twins. He leaned forward, whispering instructions into Wendell's ear like a cornerman at a boxing match. "Relax," Mel hissed. "Cool it. Remember, I want you to follow my every move." Wendell nodded, sweat beading on his forehead. He had studied Mel's surefire three-step plan to score with the intensity of a man defusing a bomb. Step 1. Yawn and stretch. On screen, the buzzsaw revved. In the audience, Mel yawned dramatically, stretching his arm around his date. Wendell mimicked the motion, but his coordination was off. He threw his arms back with a spasm that nearly knocked Vera's popcorn bucket into the next row. "Shh," a patron hissed from behind. "It's for the kids." Mel whispered to his date, justifying his odd behavior. Step 2. The ear blow. This was the killer move. She was staring intently at the screen, mouth open, a piece of popcorn poised midair. Wendell leaned in. He took a deep breath. He aimed for her ear. Just as he exhaled, the killer on screen revved the saw. Vera jumped. Wendell's breath, intended to be a seductive breeze, came out as a sharp puff of air that launched a piece of buttered popcorn directly into Vera's ear canal. "Ah!" Vera shrieked, clapping a hand to the side of her head. "I'm so sorry." Wendell gasped, panic rising. "It's not the movie," Vera cried out, confused. "They just blew a piece of popcorn right into my ear." "Don't worry," Wendell stammered, his training abandoning him. "It's buttered. It should slide right out." "Go ahead, I got it," Vera said, digging at her ear. But Wendell was a man possessed by bad advice. He remembered step 3, the closer, the line that Mel promised would seal the deal. Step 3, the kiss. With Vera still distracted by the kernel in her ear, Wendell lunged. He puckered his lips aggressively, grabbed her shoulders, and shouted over the screams of the movie victims. "Oh baby, try this on for size." He planted a clumsy, forceful kiss on her cheek. Vera recoiled, as if he were the buzzsaw killer himself. "Oh gosh, you animal," she yelled. The theater lights flickered on. People turned to stare. Mel covered his face with his hands. "Oh geez, what a couple of yaks," he groaned. "I'm all in. You'll never look me in the face again." Vera stood up, clutching her purse and her dignify. "Get out of here, you fool." Wendell shrank into his polyester suit, wishing he could dissolve into the sticky floor. Chapter 7. Ashes and Apologies. The morning sun did nothing to brighten the mood at Mel's diner. The air was thick with resentment. Alice and Jolene stood behind the counter, arms crossed, staring at the kitchen door where Mel was hiding. "Good morning, girls," Mel said cautiously, pushing through the swinging doors. "Silence. Is there anybody gonna say good morning, Mel?" he asked. "No," Alice said flatly. "Alice told us about your stupid plan. I can't believe that you would turn your sweet cousin Wendell into a rotten, insensitive, macho chauvinist pig like yourself," Jolene added, slamming a tray onto the counter. "I'm taking a coffee break," Mel muttered, retreating to a booth. The bell jingled. Wendell entered. He looked like a man who had survived a war, only to lose the peace. He was back in his nerd attire plaid jacket, bow tie, but he looked smaller, defeated. "Hello, Wendell," Ali said gently. "Is Vera here?" Wendell asked, his voice trembling. "Vera is, indisposed at the moment." Alice lied to protect him. "Oh, good. I just want to say my goodbyes before she comes out," Wendell said. clutching a suitcase. I'm taking the next bus back to West Islip. Alice's heart broke for him. Wendell, could you spare me a minute? Come and sit with me and talk, she said, guiding him to a stool. You're gonna sneak off without saying goodbye to Vera. Is that it? Oh, no, I'm too embarrassed, Wendell confessed. You see, Alice, I've been a nerd all my life, and last night I out-nerded myself. Wendell, I understand wanting to run away, but don't you think that Vera deserves an apology? Alice asked. A mere apology? Wendell scoffed at himself. You seem to forget, my ravaged bird. Wendell, you kissed her, like a wild beast. You got some bad advice from the king of the nerds, Alice said, glancing at Mel. Well, I was willing to try anything to get Vera to like me, Wendell said miserably. Oh, she liked you the minute that she saw you, Alice revealed. Wendell looked up, hope flickering behind his thick glasses. She did? Just then, Vera emerged from the back. She stopped when she saw him. Wendell? She said softly. Hello, Vera, he whispered. Vera, Wendell has something he'd like to say to you. Alice prodded. Wendell stood, wringing his hands. Vera, about last night. I'm so sorry. Well, I was pretty upset, Vera admitted. You were upset? I was so upset when I got back to Cousin Mel's apartment, Wendell said, his eyes widening at the memory. Something snapped. I set fire to my leisure suit. The diner went quiet. You know that polyester melts, Wendell explained earnestly. And it smells worse than it looks. Vera's expression softened. The image of this gentle man, torching his disco attire, in a fit of remorse, touched her deeply. Oh, but I was awful, Wendell continued. But Alice explained that the whole thing was really Mel's fault, Vera said. She did? Uh-huh, Wendell nodded. And I think she's right, Vera said, stepping closer. Because the first time you came in here, the real you was really nice. I never should have listened to Cousin Mel, Wendell agreed. Mother always said he was a bad seed. Well, I just wanted to apologize and, say goodbye, Wendell said, picking up his bag. Goodbye. Well, why? Vera asked, panicked. Wendell, what about the stamp convention? They won't miss one philatelist. I will, Vera said. Wendell froze. You will? If you stay. I'll show you around the Indian burial grounds. Vera offered shyly. You will? Mel choked on his coffee in the background. Ali stepped in, sensing leverage. Oh, I know what it is. Mel wants to take Wendell sightseeing himself. All right, just the two of them. Those long, fun-filled days at the Indian burial grounds and the zoo. Mel looked at Wendell. He looked at the idea of spending 2 days discussing stamps and dead people. All right. Mel waved his hands frantically. Just go. Wendell grabbed Vera's hand. Well, Vera, shall we hit the road? Oh, wow, Vera said. As they walked out into the Arizona sun, Alice smiled. It was a rare victory for the nerds of the world. Chapter 8. The Valedictorian. A few days later, the diner had returned to its usual chaotic rhythm. Alice was humming to herself as she cleared tables. I used to be sad, I used to be shy, she sang under her breath, lyrics from a song she was working on. Kicking myself for nothing was my favorite sport. Mel, however, was in no mood for music. He was staring at a plate of pancakes that looked like they had been used to pave a driveway. Hey, Alice, I don't think I should have to pay for these pancakes, a truck driver complained. Why not? Alice asked. Well, there's something wrong with them. Alice poked the stack. It was solid. On the house? What are you talking about on the house? Mel yelled from the grill. That's why they belong on the house. They'd make good shingles, Alice retorted. You'll stow it, Alice, Mel grumbled. Just then, Vera breezed in, 20 minutes late and radiating joy. Where have you been, dingy? Mel barked. You're 20 minutes late. I overslept, but it was worth it, Vera said dreamily. Last night was the most glorious night of my life. Quasar. Smart? Mel asked. No.